Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of CRT. That stands for Cody
And Robbie!
Time. Alright, now, for those of you that have been missing us, sorry. Life has just been kind of getting in our way. Uh, Rami had a little bit of a scare about his employment, but that's getting fixed and is
And
fixed.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I told him not to worry about it because I knew he'd get the job that he was going for. But
And I got certified
oh
in my
yeah,
field.
that's another thing. He got certified, so pop some party poppers, celebrate in the comments. It's great.
Celebrate good times. Come on.
Ah, don't
Sorry.
do that. YouTube copyright.
I wanted to get away with it.
So,
um, uh,
Rami,
yeah.
when uh, when you think of superheroes, who do you think? When you think of superheroes or heroes in general, who do you think of?
Well, Peter, you know I'm a huge fan of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I, I think of our old friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You even
They,
follow quite a few of their podcasts that are around, if I remember correctly.
yeah, Takers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, um, who else has them? Maven.
Yeah. There's also
And
Stone
well, he has a
Cold's.
YouTube channel. Well, he had one. He doesn't have one anymore. But yeah,
Damn, dude, that sucks.
yeah. But yeah, they're my heroes.
Yeah.
But
Did you
it's
reunite our heroes?
no, but I'm married.
All right.
But not
So,
here.
uh, with all of that though, so these are people that you hold in high esteem, right? These are people that you would say that you would have an immense amount of respect for, and people that you look up on, right? Look up to.
You know,
Uh, these are people that we have put on a pedestal.
yep.
So, what do you think about getting put on a pedestal, Rami?
I mean, I appreciate a sign of respect, but I don't really like being put on a pedestal because I'm just like you.
Mm,
You
that's
know,
that's true. Yeah. It can be kind of a
it feels kind of
terrifying.
weird.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you yourself don't really think that you've done anything to be put on this pedestal, and there's a lot of pressure that comes with that pedestal, and there are a lot of people's eyes that are on you, and just get me down from here, man. I'm a person. Uh, but there are both positives and negatives that come with being put on this pedestal, and it's something that all of us do. We all have people that we look up to, we all have heroes that we strive to be. It's a healthy kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, just like with Rami liking his wrestlers, I have a lot of actors that I looked up to as a child, and a lot of them even got me into acting. I was a huge fan of Robin Williams, and
Boy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's really one of the ones that got me started with acting. It was him
Jim,
and
right?
yeah, and Jim Carrey, him and Jim, uh,
I
were
talk
two.
I talk about him like I know him. Yeah.
A good old Jim, man. Uh, but yeah, those two got me started, and now I am an actor, and uh, am trying with the whole voice acting thing as well. But we all have people that we look up to, and those people that we strive to be, and those people that we kind of make goals from seeing them and then being just like, that's who I'm wanting to be like. That's my goal. So it's a healthy thing.
Yeah.
but it can also be an unhealthy thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could be setting yourself up for some disappointment because at the end of the day, we're just us. We're not our heroes. It's good to what's the word I'm looking for? Admire them, right?
Mm,
And look up to them in a sense, but you have to be, and I know I'm talking to Captain Logical when I say this, you have to be logical about this, right?
mm-hmm.
Like they're just people,
Yep.
right? Like, and you know, they can still be your heroes, they can still set a good example, but if you if you set if you base your goals like if I said to myself, I'm gonna be like Triple H, I'm gonna run $1 billion company. I don't have any business skills.
I'm just gonna go ahead and take that sledgehammer out of your hand while you say that.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go.
it's my favorite weapon. What are you
You're
talking
not
about?
you're not coming at me with that sledgehammer, man.
Why would I
I'm
come?
also gonna hide all the screwdrivers, okay?
I forgot he used one. Um. Uh. Wow, that took me back.
It
But
did.
yeah, like you're not just like I'm sure you love Robin Williams, and I do too.
Mm-hmm.
He's Cody and I's favorite actor. But
Mm-hmm.
I, you're not Robin.
No.
Nobody can be Robin. Nobody can be Triple H, right? So
Mm-hmm.
except for Triple H himself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's great that they give you motivation, but I think if you get too lost in the whole fantasy of I'm gonna be just like them, cool, but there's only one them. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if I'm making sense. Am I making sense?
Oh yeah. No, you definitely
Okay.
are. It's one of those things that we all have flaws. And one of the things that comes with putting people on a pedestal is a lot of times we're looking at them in a really flattering light and ignoring a lot of these flaws that they have. We don't know them. We don't know all the flaws that they have, but we put them on this pedestal because we have their image. But
Hmm.
we can actually see ourselves, we know our flaws, and we know the various things that we don't find okay that we do. And because of that, a lot of times we can look at what we have, the person we have on this pedestal, look at us and be just like, oh, I'm not going to reach that. I'm not good enough to be on that pedestal.
Yeah,
Sometimes. But,
you know, I, yep, and I often do that with, um, and you do it unnecessarily,
mm-hmm,
I think, when you have mental issues because you see others succeeding and you want that success, right? You want that level of success for yourself.
yep,
And like, I think I do it with Skylar, um, my other best friend who I've
mm-hmm,
mentioned. You know, he, he's, he's got his wife, Stacy, who I love, and he's got his house but he had to tell me, look, you're never going to be like me. And when he told me that, because I hold him in high regard, as do I you, but I'm never going to be you guys. I'm never going to be, I mean, and you guys don't have it all together like I think I do. Think
oh,
you do.
yeah,
You,
no,
you,
no, I don't.
you, you know, I think sometimes people confuse good skill sets for like, oh, they have it all together. Like I've told you, I think you handle your emotions better than I do, but we're both different,
Yeah,
you know?
we also both
And
have different just ways of dealing with them. You know,
yeah,
I tend to put on my acting mask until I can get to a game or something. Usually, I like wearing my facade.
you're a great big phony. Sorry.
The phony. Look at that phony.
I
I'm an
I
actor.
he, we like you. We really, really like you. Sorry. um,
You love
but
me. You really love me.
but at the end of the day, everybody's everybody has their own. I call it fuck upness,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, um, and nobody nobody's perfect, but like it's good to emulate people. It's good to want to have good qualities for yourself. That's not what we're saying. We're saying just be careful of how much you're putting it. Be careful of what's real and what's not real, like fantasy. You know?
Well, and it's good to emulate to a point. Like
Yeah,
it's good to kind of use them and be just like I can work my way up to like their strength or something like that. Like, it's good to even look at some people in like fantasy and mythology for that kind of a thing. What it's not good to is to then like look at it the unrealistic parts and be just like I have to hit this. And a lot of people do that all the time. It happens with both women and men with standards of beauty or handsomeness, which I
or
still
work
refer to
ethic.
as like beauty, like male beauty is a thing. It just
It
tends
is.
to be a lot more like, muscular and well defined pecs and the kind of thing that a lot of guys think is achievable but isn't really achievable unless you either take steroids or severely dehydrate yourself or both, in all
Or you
honesty.
just you, and it depends on the type of person too.
Mm-hmm.
I think of my brother.
Oh, yeah.
Um, he's just a healthy guy. Like he exercises,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that bothers me because I don't exercise. I probably should start doing that, but
Yeah.
um,
I need to
you
see if I
know,
can find some weights.
but I'm not my brother, and I used to be insanely jealous of him, and I still am a little bit of what he has, just like with Skyler.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what you have to realize too is everybody has their own issues. Whether they want to bring it to light is up to them.
Yep.
But that's what kind of brings me back to reality a little bit when I'm jealous or I'm emulating somebody is like, oh, they have it all together, but they really don't. Everybody has their own shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, and
I want you guys to remember that. You know,
sometimes a lot of the things that you are looking at and things that you are striving for and things that you think you need to hit are things that aren't really achievable. Like a lot of the standards of beauty, both masculine and feminine beauty, are not achievable. There are like, there's Photoshop and airbrush tools. There's steroids or muscle implants. There's like all these different things that people will do to look like that, and not all of it is healthy. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say whatever you do, don't ever do cosmetic surgery or anything like that. No, you want to do cosmetic surgery, it's your body. Do what you want to do. Do what you need to do to feel comfy in your skin. Just don't push it to the dangerous extents.
yeah, don't go overboard.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's
I
not
think
good for either. It's not good for your physical health or your mental health by doing
no,
that.
I mean, and the thing, cosmetic surgery is a great example because you not that I've had it or you've had it, but the mental side of this, which is why we do this show, is you keep when you're doing cosmetic surgeries, as we've seen with many celebrities,
Mm-hmm.
both dead and alive.
Yeah.
Um, I they're like, I don't like my nose. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. And then they're like, well, my lips are, it can spiral.
Yep.
And people don't realize it like that, and before you know it, you're addicted to plastic surgery. You're spending 100 to $200,000 on surgeries all the time,
Dude,
and then,
it's
then you slip into the addiction.
a lot
Anyway,
of times $100 isn't even anywhere
I said
near the
100.
cheapest. Yeah, I know. The 100,000 a lot of times is what sometimes ends up being the case. It's like thousands of dollars per thing usually. Like
You know,
it's an expensive addiction to have. It's more expensive than drugs in the long run, which I mean both are bad, but I mean
yeah,
but
yep,
yeah, for the mental part of it, it isn't good at all. You're going to end
no,
up, no matter how many of these cracks that you see and fill with surgery, you're just going to keep seeing more and more cracks. You're going to start chasing ghosts pretty much. You're just going to
yep.
be like, well, now that my nose is smaller, it looks like I have a whole bunch of veins in my face. And then after that, it's now that I have all these now that the veins aren't in my face, now I have this sagging chin. Well, now that I have the sagging chin, I have a kind of a little bit of a gut. And now that I don't have that gut anymore,
Liposuction.
it's just going to keep
Yeah,
going. You're going to be chasing that dragon and it's never going to end. And then
it's a
and
ghost dragon.
it is. And not to mention, with all of these surgeries, there is risks of it not going well. There are
Yeah,
people who have died on operating tables. There are people who get terrible plastic surgery done or end up,
and it
the
scars them for the rest of their life.
mm-hmm, it's
Yeah,
terrible. And a lot of this is because people are chasing these visions that they have of beauty that they have been told is beautiful, and it's not good. Because instead of accepting themselves and working on inner beauty and that kind of a thing, instead they are kind of chasing this beauty that the world kind of put on
it's
its own
unattainable.
pedestal. Yeah, it's
It's
unattainable.
unattainable.
Because a lot of the times that beauty that they're chasing after was airbrushed, photoshopped. It was made by a bunch of out of touch suits in some high rise CEO apartment somewhere. Like
Yeah,
it's not real. It is them just selling you a look.
yeah. I mean, you gotta find your own way to beauty in a healthy way.
Mm-hmm.
That's not healthy, and besides beauty, I can think of, success. People chase success all the time because they see these um these billionaires, like, um having all this success and wealth, and it's like you got to be realistic of what you're chasing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you want to be a billionaire, great, but that also takes a lot of mental fortitude, to quote Mick Foley.
Well, and a lot
Um,
of times it's also unobtainable for a lot of us because a lot of the people were born into that kind of a thing. But even for the times that it is obtainable, it's
or they're
gonna
just
take
super creative.
yeah, it's gonna
You
take a
know,
lot of work to obtain it. Like,
Yeah,
it's you're going to have to throw yourself out there. You're going to have to spend a lot of time, money, research, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times when you're just focusing on that, when the fame and money and all that, if it doesn't come right away, sometimes that can be pretty detrimental to your mental health as well.
yeah. I mean, to like throw yourself mentally into being like, I'm gonna accomplish this goal because so and so has this and they're my hero. And let's say you get a little bit into it and then you get shut down or something happens where it's like, oh shit, this didn't work out. The weight of disappointment is just so crippling that, you know, you're in that spiral of depression and it could lead to different things. And even in extreme cases, people taking their own life.
It can, yeah. And it does. It
Yeah.
happens quite often.
Yep.
And it's sad when it happens because, a lot of us deal with those kind of thoughts all the time. And when we do, unfortunately, hear about friends or loved ones that succumb to those thoughts, it can be pretty taxing and tiring. And the only thing that kind of comes with that is if you start thinking about that, you need to then remember, well, I can't really do that because I have people that are counting on me. I have people that would miss me. So all we can really do is kind of take up their flag that they dropped in this march of life and just remember them and move on.
Like we said, and we've said this in private, you and I,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know. I mean, there's a ripple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just as an example, if I were to leave Cody, he would probably leave too because we're brothers. I don't know if he would exactly leave. I'm sure he would try to still stay, but like we've said this to each other many times. Well, if you went, I would go too because
Yeah.
you're the only one that understands me emotionally. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is not the case, but like when it comes to my friends, I love them all, but Cody and I mirror each other very much
Mm-hmm.
mentally. That's why we're doing this show. And, you know, Cody's had to rescue me out of that lake. I've had to rescue him out of that lake. I couldn't I couldn't imagine my life without Cody, and he couldn't imagine his life without me.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be missed. I know we're kind of going off here, but like you will, we want to drive this home. Like, even if you don't think you will, you will. Somebody else will miss you,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's somebody that's not directly related to you. You will be missed somehow. You do have impact on this world somehow.
And you might not even know really the person that you would impact, but you're going to impact them. We all live, so we all touch each other just by existing.
Facts.
You might think that no touching. Uh, sorry, just gotta.
Breaking it up a little.
Oh yeah. Um, so we we all touch each other in different ways, and it could be in different times in life. Like if you went through that, the person that would unfortunately discover you, that would probably haunt them for the rest of their days.
Somebody that comes to mind because we're talking about to kind of bring it back to celebrities because people emulate them. Naomi Judd
Mm,
died, and her daughter Ashley found her.
yep.
Um, and because I was watching a podcast with Anderson Cooper, and they were talking about it, and she, I mean, she has trauma
Yep.
just from discovering her mom. Um, I had my best friend Skylar. Um, his mother, unfortunately, did the same thing as Naomi Judd, and his little sister was the one that found her, and I can't imagine what that would be like to see your loved one not a part of the world anymore,
Yeah.
like just dead. Discovery. I mean, it's a haunting thing. Like, and people who struggle with SI, um, they say, well, they won't miss me that much. They will.
Hmm.
They will. You have the the what the lie is telling you is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lie. The disease lies,
Yeah.
and it can be so, and it is a disease.
It is.
It can be so convincing. You know, um, you know, it can be so manipulating. It can be so just like, yep, yep. And Cody and I are living testaments to why that you don't have to just you can let it in, but you don't have to give in to it.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
can acknowledge that it's there, but you don't let it take the wheel. It's just,
Yeah.
and we're not trying to make you feel bad if you do have ideation. We're not trying to
Because we have
make
it ourselves.
we do. And we're
Yeah.
not speaking ill of anyone who has actually gone through with it. It's a terrible
Right.
tragedy for those that have gone through with it. And it's terrible and they are severely missed. It is a travesty, but we're not talking bad of them for that, but we're just trying to bring attention that it's not just going to be you that would suffer if you went through with it.
It's the ripple.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
those
I
ripples have ripples, and ripples keep going.
it just yeah, it's a never ending cycle, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when you're to kind of bring this back to what we're talking about, that's why when you're chasing these idols, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're emulating them, have reasonable expectations for yourself. Like, because at the end of the day, as much as you want to be Robin Williams or Triple H or Gordon Ramsay or you know, R.L. Stein or
Mm.
whoever, you're not.
That's a good another one to use. R.L. Stein.
You're
Uh,
not.
no.
Um, you're not. Like, sorry to burst your bubble, but actually, no, I'm not. Like, and I don't mean to be a dick, right? But
I mean, well, they're
it,
not. There's only one of each of them, and there's only one of you, listener, that's listening. There's only one of you, and that
we
means
love you
that.
guys.
Oh yeah, we love you, and
We're never gonna lie to you guys, and we're not one to give you false hope. Like, that's not what we do here at C.R.T. You know, we're just not.
yep,
We love each and every one of you guys that listen. And we're not gonna lie to you. We're gonna be logical and honest and just straightforward sometimes. So, and this is one of those times.
yep.
You're not your heroes. Doesn't mean you
Well,
can't love them. Doesn't mean you can't emulate them. But just have reasonable, logical expectations when it comes to them, because it could compromise your mental health.
and there's another thing that's going to be kind of a what I would call a refreshing slap in the face right now that I'm going to say, which is those people that you're idolizing, they're not superheroes, you know? The people that you are looking at on those pedestals, those people you put on those pedestals, they're not Superman. They are just normal people.
They're just like
They
you and me.
they have
They're just
issues.
they're extraordinarily good at what they do.
And a
You
lot of
know,
times, especially for like actors and that, a lot of times they do hide the issues that they have behind a facade because they need to. You know?
and we and because of not wanting to disappoint
Mm-hmm.
their fans. Let's bring that, let's bring it again to the forefront here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but at the end of the day, nobody knows what goes on behind closed doors.
That's right.
You know, and I would say, don't. You can have heroes. That's not what we're saying. Okay, you can have heroes. You can emulate them, but just remember again. And Cody and I can't highlight this enough. They're just people.
Mm-hmm.
Cody's had to tell me that a million times about my wrestlers. Um, you know, and don't get me wrong, it's kind of hard to when you I'll use myself when when I watch WWE every week for 21 years now. You it's hard not to be like they're just people, but yes, they're just people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's why I love some of these podcasts I watch because you can see the human side of of these people and just realize, oh, he's just like me. And hey, that might bring you closer to them as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, some people think, oh, these celebrities, they have it all together. They don't,
No.
you know. They're not. They have issues that they don't even want to talk about,
Yep.
you know. So anyway, I don't want to keep going in circles, but just watch. It's good to have emulation. It's good to have heroes, but don't go overboard with it. Trust me, I know about going overboard. So does Cody with me, unfortunately. But
I mean, it's kind of a fact of life, really.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, there. It's not all doom and gloom having heroes, though. You know,
right,
there's good things that come with it, and
right. And we should get into that.
mm-hmm. Well, uh,
Y-
if it wasn't because of Robin Williams and uh, just because of all these actors that I have looked up to from a very young age, I stuck with acting, and that's what I do, and it is something that everyone tells me I'm very talented at. So
You are.
thank you.
Yep. And honestly, if it, I'm not a wrestler, okay, but if it wasn't for wrestling, just the way that the escapism that it gives you and the happiness, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. Like I wouldn't be trying to uplift people because wrestling is such an uplifting thing. I mean, people will mock it all they want, and that's fine. I don't give a f. But I don't. You know, it uplifts people, and that's something I take away from it. Like I bring that to my profession every day. You know,
Well,
like I want to uplift people.
not to mention, correct me if I'm wrong, Rami, but one of the things we heavily bonded with when we first became friends was wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, I talked about it so much that Cody would get fed up with me because that was all I had that was all I would talk about. And I had to learn that I have to talk about other things, and I've feel like I'm a lot better than I was when I was like 15 or 16, but
Yeah.
um you know, it it's one of the things that bonded us, and same with Skylar and I. Skylar's not into it anymore, but anytime I talk about The Undertaker or one of his favorite wrestlers, or if I want to show him he'll let me show him wrestling stuff because he knows that's what bonded us together. you know. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's good to have heroes because, and it's good to draw inspiration from them. You should want to be a good person, and at the end of the day, that's what heroes, I think, try to emulate. A good part of them is just be good, do good,
Mm-hmm.
you do right by people. You know,
And we're not just
yeah,
talking about the Mountie Dudley Do Right either. We're just saying do
really,
right. Yeah, man.
yeah, do
Oh,
do right.
yeah.
You
Which,
know, just be the best version of you. Don't try to be, you know, don't try to be Robin Williams. You can be inspired by Robin Williams, and that's great.
mhm.
But, you know, just be the best version of yourself and what you bring to the table. Anyway, any final thoughts here, Peter?
Hmm. Well, I would probably say that a kind of healthy way to look at all of this is if you're going to be putting something on a pedestal, maybe it should just be different aspects of people instead of the person themselves.
Right,
You know?
different qualities.
Mm hmm.
Like something I love about um something I love about all wrestlers is how giving they are to their fans.
Mm hmm.
Like it's not all of them, but now in recent years, they're giving a lot to their fans. You see them spending time with them, and like Cody Rhodes, like
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
stay to the end of the show and he'll sign every autograph. He'll 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 just want to be with them.
He'll
Um,
even, he'll even get tickets and all that for like
Pay
young
per view.
fan. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
he's good to people, and there are a lot of
I'm
wrestlers
so-
that are
I'm
like
sorry. Premium live events. That's what they're called now.
really
Yeah,
instead of pay per views. But
yeah,
you're still but it's still a pay per view event. You still pay
yeah.
per
Well,
views.
PLE, but I still call them pay per views.
Yeah,
I guess that makes us old. But
I mean, it harkens back to the days when cable TV wasn't on its dying legs. But you know,
what's what's something of Robin Williams or Jim that you try to take? What aspect?
that would probably be. I love their diversity in their range, their acting range that they can have. You know, Robin Williams and even Jim Carrey to an extent can play either the most hilarious person or the most serious person. They can kind of do both, which is a great quality for an actor.
Well, and I'll tell you something that from the human side that you take from them, and I take from them too, is their kindness. They're just kind. They're kind people. Robin Williams was one of the most kind people ever. I've never heard a bad story about him
Mm.
from anyone. Same with Jim, you know, and you are extraordinarily kind to people that love you. And people, I know that you would give, like, if you had $1 million, and you saw somebody in need, you'd be like, can I help you? Like, you are one of the most kindest people I know. And I'm not just putting you over because we're best friends, man. Like, I've seen it. I've seen you interact with just strangers, even when we were at church, when we used to go when you were here in Colorado, and when we were younger. It's just like nobody's that kind, you know. So I think kindness is a big one you emulate from them. You
Well,
know,
thanks.
good job,
I, I,
good
I
job, Peter.
well, and Rami, you
Yes.
are also kind and extremely loyal. Like that is something that I would say is a big part of you. You know, you do remind me a lot of at least how the personas of a lot of wrestlers that both you and I adore. Like, you know,
Theodore.
um,
Yeah.
I mean, like, uh, even though they don't really acknowledge him all that much anymore, Chris Benoit, you know, he was one of the most loyal. Uh, his character was one of the most loyal wrestlers out there.
Him as a human, despite the last weekend of his life, because
Mm-hmm.
I know that somebody's gonna listen to this and be like, "But he's a murderer." Yes,
But he
like we
also had a
understand.
huge mental break. I don't think you can
We
fully.
also we, but I'm saying we acknowledge that,
Yes.
but we and we don't condone it,
No.
but
Murder is wrong.
it's murder. But Chris, Eddie too, man. Eddie,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll use a better, not a better example, but one that may not get us in trouble.
Viva la raza, man.
Yeah, Eddie would literally. I've heard stories about Eddie just giving anybody what they need,
Mm-hmm.
and his time witnessing to people, about Christianity and just showing compassion and being so humble. You know, Rey Mysterio. Uh, I know I keep using wrestlers, but um, I can think of celebrities too. Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, Bruce Willis until he got sick. Um, you hear these stories, guys, and that's what you should strive for. That aspect of just being a good human being,
Mm-hmm.
being the best human being that that Cody can be, that Rami can be, that you can be.
That someone out there named Tim can be. Yeah, we see you, Tim.
Hi, Tim. Uh, I know we're not talking to that Tim, but hi. Um, um, but anyway, guys. Well, buddy, weird fact time.
Hmm. Let's see. Weird fact. Weird fact. Uh, oh, I did actually have one. Oh, did you know that there is a surprising amount of spiders, wasps, and other insects that have been pulled out of people's ears?
To my little sisters, if you're ever listening to this, yes, it is gross.
I mean, it's gross, but it happens a lot. Apparently, they just really like small enclosed spaces, uh, and they get kind
Makes
of stuck in
sense.
there sometimes.
Makes sense, because maybe to them, hey, this is a cozy pad. Even
Yeah.
though to us, it would be like, there's a bug in my ear.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
There's a snake in my. No,
There's a
copyright.
snake in my boots.
Oh, before we go, guys, I just want to share that coming in at the end of August, we will be trying to do video versions.
Mm-hmm.
We will still do audio, but I'm finally gonna get a computer because, to be honest with you, I kind of use a cell. I'm just on my phone. That's
Mm-hmm.
why you can see, you can hear me as well as you can because Cody's a tech wizard and we use
You're breaking
Discord
the magician's code, man.
and well, I'm sorry, but yeah, we're gonna try to do video versions of these as well because I think obviously I want to be able to. I think when we're able to see each other, it makes the conversation more real, at least to me. Like it's still a good conversation, but I like physically seeing my friend too because we live in different states, and this is kind of our way of hanging out. So, um, but yeah, videos are coming soon, and we're gonna try to come up with maybe new ideas how to interact with you guys. Maybe little skits we can do because Cody and I do little skits off air that nobody knows about and maybe shouldn't see, but we're gonna try it. We're
I
gonna
mean,
try it anyway.
most of it's just us fooling around, just being the the idiots that we are, and I mean idiots in a loving way too.
Oh, we're complete idiots. I you,
Did
you
you
know
win?
we're hot wings. I'm not going in there.
But
I'm right
yeah,
behind you.
I've even got the Sorry, my mic fell over. If there's a noise, my mic fell over. Sorry about that. Um, but I even have already been working on a new background and overlay things for our videos.
We're really looking forward to this game.
Oh yeah.
What I saw today that Cody's come up with, um, and in no way am I putting him on a pedestal. He's just better technologically advanced than I am. Um, so he, I'm very impressed, and we can't wait to give our channel more life, so to speak.
It's gonna be fun. I
It's
hope
gonna be
y'all look
fun. So
forward to it.
stay tuned, and we're gonna try to do like I said last episode. We're gonna keep trying to do these regularly again, trying to figure it out. But thank y'all for listening, and he's Cody.
He's Rami. Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.